This is Davini's Library of Audiobooks. In this video, I'm going to be reading The Simple Way to Awaken, as described by Osho in The Supreme Understanding, Discourse Number 2. Osho says, "You are the vast blueness of the sky, and thoughts are just like clouds hovering around you, filling you. Look into space, into the sky, without seeing. Look with an empty eye. Looking, yet not looking for something, just an empty look." As Osho explains in many discourses, he is talking about simply gazing at the sky. In this, he is revising a meditation 33, which I've noted here. That meditation is a sutra. Simply by looking into the blue sky beyond clouds, the serenity, one will become serene. Osho says about this method is just looking, not thinking. The sky is infinite, it ends nowhere. The sky is not an object. It's an object linguistically, but existentially, the sky is not an object, as an object begins and ends. He says, just move, just look, do not think, do not create words, they will become barriers. Not even blue sky should be said, do not verbalize. Suddenly, because there is no object, just a vacuum, suddenly you will become aware of yourself. That's the purpose of this method, is to become aware of yourself and the serenity. If this happens, there's a desirelessness. All movement of the mind stops, no desire arises, and with the non-arising of desire, the serenity, you become silent, serene. A sudden peace explodes in you. You have become like the sky. Look, penetrate into it, and the look must be a non-thinking one. Remember this. You will feel the same sky within, the same dimension within, the same space and blueness and emptiness. That is why Shiva says, simply. Osho says the same sky is inside you. You are the vast blueness of the sky, and thoughts are just like clouds hovering around you, filling you. But the gaps exist, the sky exists. So the method is gaze at the sky, then close your eyes and gaze at the inner sky. That's how I write it. When you recognize that you're this boundless mind, that you still exist in the gap of silence, you remember pure awareness, as I call it. You, for the first time, remember who you are, and you could not be anything else. This feels like perfection, in my words. Osho's three concepts for this method: mind does not exist as an entity, only thoughts exist. 2. Thoughts exist separate from you. You're not one, they are not one with your nature. Thoughts come and go. You remain, you persist. You are like the sky. It never comes, it never goes, it is always there. 3. Thoughts are things, forces, and you have to handle them very carefully. So to break this down, again, mind does not exist as an entity, only thoughts exist. And this Indian song is what he's referencing when he describes this. Describes the reason why there's no mind is because thoughts together, millions of thoughts, give you the illusion that mind exists. It is just like a crowd, millions of people standing in a crowd, but they are standing together. Their togetherness gives you the feeling that something like a crowd exists. Only individuals exist. Watch and you will find thoughts. You will never come across the mind. 2 is you. You abide, not as you, because that too is a thought, as pure consciousness. That's not your name, not your form, not your body, just pure consciousness. Only that abides. 3, again, thoughts are things, forces, and you have to handle them carefully. If you become more aware, A thought simply disappears. It melts because awareness is a greater energy than thought. The result of this, when you do this look of gazing, it's a natural thing. A natural thing unfocuses you, deconditions you. The result of that is that this destroys your distinctions, your mind of distinctions. So on the concepts of this method, the entire method is a process. The entire process is just an insight into the mind. The whole satori, the whole samadhi, awakening, enlightening, it's just having an insight about what your mind is and what you are. It's just realizing something. You abide as pure consciousness. You abide not as you, because that too is a thought. You're only that which abides. You are the very phenomenon of being aware. Here are several concepts about thoughts that Osho continues to explain what happens with thoughts, that your thoughts are, that you're broadcasting thoughts and it causes issues, and every single thought is creating something for you and for others. Describes the dissolution of thoughts in that process. Describes why you should not fight thoughts with your own thoughts. Thoughts do stop, but not by your stopping. They stop by your becoming more aware, not by any effort on your part to stop them. And they do not stop when you try to stop them, they resist. The more you look, the less you find. The deeper you look, the thoughts disappear, disperse. Once you know this, then the key is in your hand. And this key unlocks the most secret phenomenon, the phenomenon of Buddhahood. So there's a realization here. It's a realizing, oh, if I point my awareness to these thoughts, they're destroyed. It's like gaining a power. It's like, oh, I can destroy thoughts now. Why? Because awareness is like fire to thought. You become more aware, and there's fewer and fewer thoughts. And he says if you become really integrated in your awareness, thoughts will never even enter you. They can't even penetrate you. They're destroyed before they get near you. He goes on to his teaching of how you're doing this looking, this gazing. You simply watch. You simply remain conscious. You don't think. If some thought enters, as it will, as they're just floating, just become aware of it. The result of that is there will be gaps of silence. In those gaps, satoris happen, or awakenings happen. You realize truth. The guest comes home. Godliness is realized, or however you say it. I call it the presence of God. Let pure clarity be in you, pure perception. Only then will existence be revealed to you. So that's not philosophy there. That's a phenomenon. If you're just there, you're going to realize existence. If you create the space to allow yourself to actually see existence, again, the result is you'll experience a vast oneness. And a result, you'll experience a merging, that all things are merged as one thing. Further into results, as the Buddha describes it, you've forgotten. You don't remember who you are, and Buddha remembers. You're the same as Buddha, but he remembers and you don't. He's awake and you're asleep. You still have the same nature. You're still the same thing as Buddha. Just because you've forgotten it does not change it. And this is a very real thing. When you realize this, there's nothing that actually changed. You don't gain anything. You just recognize what you didn't recognize before. And this causes you to lose your misery, pain, anguish, anxiety, ambition, jealousy, hatred, possessiveness, violence. You might want to consider if you don't want to lose those things, because you're not going to be able to keep them. In conclusion, if this becomes your experience, If it becomes a fact of your own knowing, then suddenly many things start changing. Because you have understood such a deep thing about the mind, many things can follow. The same way to say that you've gained a key, you've gained a realization of your mind. You've gained a realization that you can use this awareness to be silent and destroy thoughts. Always remember that which abides. That is your nature, your Tao. And Tao is a sort of unspeakable essence of things, if you'd like to say that. Any description of Tao is really going to be wrong. So don't take my words for what the Tao is. Always be attentive to that which never comes and never goes, just like the sky. Gaze at the sky, then close your eyes and gaze at the inner sky. Again, those are my words, my simplification of this. What will happen is suddenly a moment will come when you are attuned to this look of not looking. The clouds will disappear for you, and only the vast sky will remain. It's a very simple method. I believe anyone could do it, and I believe that these results are true. Thank you.